Well, hello guys, welcome back. So I won back the house to meat-eating territory because humans are classified, and it is a real thing. You can look this up, as persistent predators. We're hunters, we're hunter-gatherers, and we're persistent predators, which means we just kind of walk after our prey, and eventually they get exhausted and they lay down. That's how we catch them. It's a thing. We're a predatory species. We're meat eaters. Wow. And what it was is that demons will constantly be testing your ethics and testing how you feel about things. And I said, I really don't feel guilty about it. I said, vegetarian and vegans can do a pretty good job of making the rest of us feel bad about Peeps and our marshmallow cereal and our Pop Tarts. But I said, I really don't feel any guilt or shame of it. I said, I come from a predatory species. I said, I know when there's very little food in the, not food in the house, but there's very little meat in the house. I start looking at all those cute little bunnies and groundhogs and thinking, my grandmother used to catch groundhogs. Wonder if it's legal. They look good. We're a predatory species. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the predator kicks in, and the predator has no meat, and the predator starts looking at all the pretty little songbirds and thinking about how hard is it to build a bird trap. And some people, those of us that are committed carnivores, are starting to, every so often you're looking at animals that are out in your yard and you're thinking, oh, nature. Good nature would taste good on the grill. I bet that's what nature would do. And normally these would be species you would leave alone. And I said, it's just the predatory nature in us. I said, it's why we eat eggs and, all the other stuff we eat. I said, we're predators. I said, some people, a very select few people seem to be able to do fine on a vegetarian or vegan diet, and they actually thrive on it. I said, you take most of us omnivores and you put us on a purely vegetarian diet, and we just die because, one, by now we need processed food or we'll die. And and two, I said we're just not happy because we like our little bits of meat, we like our marshmallow peeps, and we like all of our other stuff. I said it's an impractical diet for me as a persistent predator to go on. I said, hey, I don't hunt or fish. I don't have anything against people who do, and believe me, I will support you in hunting and fishing at this point. And I said, but I'm also supporting the economy. I'm supporting the people who go out there and fish when I have tuna, and I'm supporting the people who raise cattle, and I'm supporting the people who raise chickens. So I said, I'm helping the economy. So, there's no shame in it to me to be omnivore, but it's demons will test your ethics. They'll test where your ethics are. And I said, the problem is, and I can say this as a former vegan, a lot of vegans lie and make up shit when they want people to not do what they want them to not do. And they don't get the fact that you can choose to live any kind of ethical lifestyle you want, and you can choose your own ethics, but you cannot choose them for anyone else. And calling people names like meat mouth and telling them they torture animals when they eat them, that just makes people pissed off and angry. And the usual omnivore persistent predator response is, okay, I'll eat 5 of them, fuck you. So it's one of those things. So you get to see the extremist on one side screaming that meat is murder, and then you get to see the extremist on the other side saying, for every one animal you don't eat, I'll eat 5. And they're both going to die of some kind of food deficiency, because I've been on every diet known to man. I've been on the all meat diet, which will drive you fucking nuts, and I've been on the all vegetable diet. I've been on the all fruit diet, and omnivore just works for me. So I told them, I said, no. I said, if you're disappointed, you're disappointed. I understand that if you don't want to work with me. And it was just a testing my ethics thing and seeing where my ethics are. I said, I don't feel guilty about eating Peeps. I don't feel guilty about eating meat. I said, if we weren't a persistent predator species, I would, but we have science on this planet. I know vegans and vegetarians wish we didn't, but we have science. It's how our species evolved and survived. There's something about eating fish and eating meat, whether it's the skill level you need to be able to hunt and fish successfully, or it's superfood for the brain. It helped us evolve, and they don't want to hear that. And if they want to choose to not eat meat now, that's certainly their ethical right, but they can't make the choice for everybody else, which is what the point was. And also, Loki and I didn't even make it to bedtime. We went off and we had a peep, and we were nomming on our peep, and they joined us, and we had a Pop-Tart this morning. I'm like, come on, guys. We didn't even make it through a peep snack and this morning's breakfast. We failed. You know, can we say vegetarianism failed in this house? Because vegetarianism just failed twice in a row. And they thought about it and they're like, yeah. So, and I know, I looked it up. I forgot. I forgot how much of an asshole some vegans can be because I haven't been one for years. So I looked it up. I was like, Pop-Tart's got to be vegetarian because I read the label and there's some asshole somewhere who is convinced that they put gelatin in everything. There are those vegans out there. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, fuck you. I'll go eat a cow after this and I'll hunt down chickens, and the neighbor's cat's looking awful damn good now. If you're going to be an asshole about this, I will eat every animal I see. I don't like being told what to do. Most people don't. But it was, I think, the intent, because the Pop-Tart went over just as well, and let's tell the truth, the Peep went over just as well last night as a vegetarian meal, so I think it's the intent. And once we got it down to, I don't have an ethical problem with it, they're fine. Because I said, you know, we're coming up to barbecue season. You know? I said, we're coming up to hot dog season. And I said, I know you don't like the cleanliness standards at the local DQ, and I don't blame them. But I said, for everything else, I said, we're coming up to good food season. I said, do you really want me to pass it up if somebody gets a deer or somebody gets some fish or something? No. So, you know, they're okay. And I was like, this was really unusual because Vipar was leading the charge. And Vipar, I really haven't worked with long, but they didn't strike me as a vegetarian, especially when they were eating more than their share of ham. And I'm looking at them like, you ate your weight in ham. Why are you suddenly vegetarian? I think it was just they were bored, they're frustrated, they wanted to see, you know, where my ethics were, and they picked an unfortunate topic. And I stressed out last night and this morning. I said, you know what? I'm not ashamed. I like my eggs when I can get them. I like, you know, like my meat when I can get it. And I said, it's not, you know, I'm not going to go out of my way to eat any special diet. We'll just have the standard omnivore diet. That way I don't have to read labels. I don't have to worry about what's put in it. I can just eat my food and eat it in peace. And they were like, okay. And one of you was nice enough to point out a free game on Patreon, and it's a limited time game. And there's also that other game I thought was a thing to just get people to pay attention to the game. It turned out they did make it free. So I have 2 free games to get to for you guys. So I will try those. Sometimes something just doesn't seem like it's going to work out for YouTube. I'm going to try the suggested one first, and then I'll get to the other one. If you guys are really serious about knowing which games they are now, I can give you guys the links, but it's going to be, you know, as coronavirus keeps going on and people are trying to open the country a little too fast, they're giving away free games. Some people, but it's like, I don't know how long it will last or anything else. They don't have like a set time of how long it's free, but I appreciate the person that gave me the link because we have a gaming budget of 0 right now. So I appreciate that. And if you guys do see a free game that I haven't mentioned or played and you think it would be cool, please do not mention Minecraft or Roblox. I do not play multiplayer ever. And also, it's a thing about permission on YouTube. I can't just go into a multiplayer game anyhow. I think you need everybody's permission. I'm not sure how that works. I know some people get away with it, but I don't multiplayer in the first place. I don't like humans. We all kind of established that. But yeah, the vegetarian thing ended. I think they just liked the idea of it. It felt like one of you mentioned a spa day. It did. But do you know how many spas there are worldwide? Even in India, and I was really shocked, but I have this travel app that lets you go into these places in VR. Do you know how many places in India will serve you steak in a spa? And I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, I know the whole country isn't, you know, vegetarian. I know there are different religions and that. I'm not that ignorant, but it was just a shock. You would think you would be going into like the land of vegetarianism, and they have these beautiful cookouts with these gorgeous steaks, and I'm like, yep, I know what I'm eating. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.